Well, the autopsy really emphasizes that the pressure is going to have to come, the creative energy is going to have to come from the grassroots, whether people call themselves Democrats or anything else. The heat is going to have to be turned way up to reprioritize out of the appropriations process on Capitol Hill. When you look at the fiscal 2018 military budget that's just been passed in the last few weeks, you can count on one hand the number of Democrats who voted against it and still have a finger or two left over. Bernie Sanders voted against it. You had a few, again, less than 5. Total of 8 senators as a whole out of 100 voting against it, but I was going to say less than 5 Republicans. You had Rand Paul and a couple of others. And so you've got essentially 90% of the Congress, or the Senate in that case, voting for this astronomical boost in military spending at a time when the U.S. government is already spending more on military than the other 9 or 10 most military spending countries on the planet. So it's just out of control. And the only way that those priorities are going to change to spend on infrastructure, green jobs, anti-climate change programs, public education, K through 12, free public college, things that are vastly popular with the polling but not popular with elites. The only changes are going to come from the grassroots.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say that in addition, Norman, it's not only more than the next 10 countries, but the next 10 countries combined. Right. So, I mean, that's an important point. And I think the majority of those countries are our allies to boot, so it's completely unnecessary. The other thing noted is that for the increase in spending that they have done over time, the student debt could be wiped out. And just on that alone, it could be wiped out. And we see right now that there is poverty created by the student debt. Going to higher education is really now become a class issue because no one can afford to go to school. And we see poverty being created by just trying to get an education. And when we have such massive student debt, this is another thing that was driving the popularity of Bernie Sanders, was that discussion. Military spending, they have no problem with subsidizing, but they can't seem to do this with higher education. And we need a redirection of our priorities, and that's what this report is calling for, in addition to pointing out the mistakes.